Hello and welcome to Riff Views. Yesterday ended up being much busier than I intended because, ended up going to, like I said, I was going to Canada and we ended up getting tied up at immigration, which we knew would happen. There's a little problem with my son. He's listed as immigrating into Canada and he's not. And anyway, it's anytime across the border, it's always a problem. And So, um, we go into Canada. We took the tunnel over. Don't usually take the tunnel. I prefer the bridge, but we take the tunnel over, and so we get to the check, and of course we get told to pull over um, into the little parking area so they can check out, sort through all this. And so we're standing there. We're standing in front of my car. I've got the trunk popped, they're popping they got the boot of the car open, they've got the hood popped. We're parked next to a Ford F-250. And we've got about five border guards, but they're Canadian border guards, so they're at least, there's not a lot of tension, you could tell they're just doing their job, they check bags and everything, they're checking the, glove box, just kind of going through the car, um, and, and so they get to the point they're almost done when suddenly one of the border guards jumps out of the bed of the truck parks next to us and goes, "Boo!" and tries to scare this other guard who's this big black mountain of a guy, right? I mean, he's just this huge guy. And one of the other border guards, she says to the black guy, she says, "You didn't even flinch." And he said, "I'm from the hood." And so it freaked my son out, but I was holding back laughing because I'm thinking, okay, the Canadian border guards must not have a lot to do today. If, this is how seriously they're taking things. While they're searching my car, they had one of the other guards sitting and wait in the trunk to jump of the truck bed to jump out and scare everyone. So just had to share that story because end up having a 45-minute wait while they had to sort through paperwork, and they have to do this every time across the border. But yeah, that's what a major threat we are to Canadian security, that they have people jumping out of truck beds. So anyway, I was going to do X Force, and I was going through my stuff, and I realized I hadn't checked out. Well, I read it, but I hadn't done a video on Empty Man number 2 yet. And if you recall, I really liked the first issue, and I'm trying to do, smaller, companies. It's really easy to do Marvel books. It really, really is. They're either they're really okay or they're really bad. Now, like Superior Spider-Man was really good, so but that's seems to be the exception. So, figure I'd take a quick look at this one. And like I said, I really liked the first issue. I never read the previous series, the Empty Man. This is like a continuation. This isn't a brand new IP, so to speak. So I'm not really familiar with the other one. And when I say not really, I never read it, so I'm not familiar. I only know the first issue, which I really liked. And I like a good horror book. And yeah, this one is not as grisly. I think there were some scenes in the first issue that I was a little bit hesitant about showing on YouTube. Um, but yeah, I'm just going to pop into Colin Bunn. Yeah, this is Colin Bunn. This is good. I'm just going to come right out. I'm liking this book. I'm not even going to wait till the end to tell you that. Um, so yeah, it starts off with a scene in a gym where the news person's talking about how all these children, and I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker here. I'm going to try to. Um, about all these children that are disappearing, and they think it's connected to the Empty Man virus. And the Empty Man virus, of course, is think Slender Man, but people see the Empty Man, they go nuts, they start killing people, hurting themselves. That's just kind of in a nutshell. So this guy's in the gym and he's catching the news report about these all these children, infants that have been kidnapped. And so he goes, gets on the treadmill, and it starts, chunk, 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 and when he starts messing with the elevation. And one of the other gym goers, notices that someone had left a bag in there, and they're not supposed to leave a bag on the floor. So he looks under, and find out that one of the dead babies was stuck underneath the treadmill. So we don't really get too much in this issue about the whole dead baby plot, or the baby kidnapping plot, and they're being left everywhere. Instead, we get some scenes interspersed with Melissa, who's the mother of the family of Vicky's the daughter, who is affected by the empty man virus, and she's smashing her head into the wall. And we're seeing some of the other things that the empty man's making people do. Like one woman, she cuts off her hand, blends it, and is drinking the parts to make her feel complete. Another nurse is killing her patients because death is the only way to heal. Another guy funnel fed himself 2 gallons of bleach to cleanse himself from the inside. And around each of these things, there's always a message. The empty man made me do it. So that's really probably about the worst gory scene in the book. And so we have Vicky, who is Melissa's daughter. She's in the park when she's approached by these two people. Um, you know, uh, she says, "You're with the FBI." They say, "That's right," and the Center for Disease Control. Now it's interesting. Remember, the daughter says that you're with the FBI, and I guess this is about the test, isn't it? And the school administered a test, in the previous issue, saying, basically signs if you're affected by the empty man, or know someone that is. And all these weird questions. A kid in class thought it had something to do with, the empty man. And the guy says they went through with it, with the tests. Idiots. So the woman tells, we're not here about the test, but we're here about your mother. And so the girl, Vicky, asks, "I think I should see some kind of identification. I probably should have asked before now." That's when they get up. "That's good. That's smart. You know what? Why don't you go ahead and go home? I think we've kept you long enough." So obviously they're not with the FBI or CDC, but they do give her card. And this is my number. I want you to understand, Vicky, we're here to help you if you need us. All you have to do is call. And so as they're walking away, the guy says, "She seems like a nice kid. Maybe we should have warned her." And the woman says, "I know," and she looks over her shoulder. Okay, there is this scene, and she sees this. Kids shouldn't be playing out here without their parents. Kids? So, of course, you see that she is affected by the empty man virus, too. Or something similar. Maybe she's just psychotic. Hey, when was the last time you took your meds? She shoots him a dirty look and takes one of the pills. Happy now? A little. But yeah, it makes it seem like there is some type of cure for the empty man, or at least something to help with the symptoms. And um, she says these pills. Can we get them into the hands of people who need them? You know what I mean. Mass production could help so many people. That was easy. They weren't easy to make when I had access to a lab. Now I'm working off hotel bathrooms. So yeah, we have this group here who's trying to fight the virus. Now we go back to Vicky's home with Melissa. If you remember, the dad had the creepy guy who showed up. And we find out that they're a group called the Whispering Oracle. So the dad lets the leader up to the room, and only him. And, he says, "You've made a good decision here. I'm sure I can help. I'm sure we could help each other." I just like doing that voice. I like to do that voice. My son hates that voice. Yeah, whatever you say. So they go up and they find Melissa up there. "Andrew, I think I bumped my head." Now remember, they were showing the scenes interspersed of her bashing her head against the wall. "And we have company?" "Oh no, I'm sure I look a mess." And of course, he's obviously freaked out. "What happened? What have you done?" And "Don't be mad, Andrew. I couldn't help myself." The empty man made me do it. And of course, creepy McCreepface here is just staring there solemnly. Um, and wants the Andrew, the father, wants to take her to the hospital. Do you know what will happen if you take her to a hospital? Do you know how quickly they'll diagnose what's really wrong with her? They'll quarantine her. And I just like doing that voice. You'll never see her again. It also makes the comic funnier to me if I read it like that. So Vicky comes home, and of course, she's trying to get through to her parents, and she gets surrounded by the rest of the Whispering Oracle, and screams out for her dad, and he hears her, and we can help you. Like I said, my people can treat her. We have resources. Of course, the wife asks not to be sent away, and he keeps trying to push it. She needs care we could provide. And he says, the father says, I don't even know what you really want. I told you. No, I'm not letting you take my wife. I won't. So basically, the Andrew tells him to leave, and he says, very well, I'll be going, but this isn't going to get any easier for you or for Melissa. Yeah, it helps if you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. We're done here, my friends. There's nothing more for us to do today. We are leaving. And so they all just walk out, and the father, Andrew, tells Vicky to go get the, first aid kit from down the hall. I'm not going to go too much further on this, because we find that, let's go to here. We cut back to the original two there in the hotel, and she she comes to the door and find out her name's Jensen. We dropped the ball, Marsh. So yeah, Jensen and Marsh. She called me. Vicky Carey called me. She was rattled. Said there were people at her house when she got home. Who? The government? She didn't know, but not the government. They were there in an unofficial capacity. It might have been them. The Whisper Oracles. God, they left them food. Get dressed. We're going over there. So yeah, I'm going to stop there. So now we have, we find out the name of that group is the Whisper Oracles. We have these two who seem to have come up with some type of pill to help the empty man virus, help keep the symptoms down. And of course, the what you're not seeing, what I didn't show, is that the Whisper Oracles are going back. They have plans to go back at night, and they have big plans to make a big show, since they were turned away. So maybe Melissa, she seems to be really important. Those two, Marsh and Jensen, knew about Vicky, knew about her mom already. Of course, the Oracle, the Whisper Oracles, knew about her. So I don't know if she's really important, or if they're going after a whole bunch of people, and this is just Melissa's and Vicky's story. But yeah, I'm enjoying this book. I'm still enjoying this book. It has me hooked. And yeah, it's you don't need gore to be horrific. I've always I grew up with horror movies from the 50s and that, and it's always the monster you don't see when your mind fills in the gaps that makes it more scary. It's the tension of that. And I'm liking this because a lot of horror comics are just like, yeah, you're just being edgy. You're showing someone walk around with their head cut off and holding it in their arms. That's not scary to me. It gets to be a little goofy, but yeah, stuff like this has the tension, and it has enough to a good story has enough to answer questions and leave you wanting more, give you more questions. Who are these two people? I am loving this book. So yeah, there have been times, first issue, okay, it's pretty good. Can it keep it up? And so far, this has been keeping it up. I'm liking this. I am liking this book. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this one short here tonight. It's been kind of a long weekend for me, and yeah, this time including my little situation getting back into the country. But Anyway, I guess all it takes is to have your name put in the wrong spot on a form. And you end up on lists forever. But anyway, I will be back tomorrow. I may do X-Force #1. I may also do another book that I was asked to do. And I actually don't have it on, the actual print, so I might buy a digital copy and do it off my tablet. It depends if I feel like going to the comic shop tomorrow, because it is New Year's Eve. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't, don't forget to subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow. Thanks. Have a good one.